Hey guys, and welcome to today's session of Free and Fit. We are using the platform today for a health and wellness event. This is what she says. Hi, I'm Joli. I'm a qualified personal trainer, a theologian, and also a blogger. I've started weight training in 2013. Since then, I am more determined, more focused, more fearless, and more disciplined than ever before. She says she wants to make you believe in yourself, accept and love yourself just the way you are, while working on to be who you want to be. She is an extravert, bubbly personality with very positive energy. Also, she knows how to bring joy and have fun while making sure you are achieving your goals, whether it is weight or fat loss, getting stronger, or generally just getting healthier and fitter.
Sure. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for that introduction. So I came to London in 2012, just before we met with Tim. And that was the time for me when I started to get into fitness. But so I was working with kids. I was a nanny and a nursery teacher when I got into this. So I lived a very busy life, yet I always find time to go down to the gym and then just do something, and as everybody else, I just started the same way. I didn't know what I'm doing. So I got myself a personal trainer who taught me everything. And he also inspired me to do more, not just for myself, but actually teach people. As I love people, and I was always, for me, it was always very easy to connect with people, in every kind of level. So he just, saw that in me, that this would be something that I can help a lot of people out, just physically and mentally too, because as Tim said, I'm also a theologian. So I did a theology university back in Hungary, which I'm from Hungary, which helps me a lot when it comes to faith and also the mental thing. I'm trying to bring the faith and the fitness together, as Tim doing the same thing. That's how we actually got connected. And about 3 years ago, I decided to quit my job and get a full-time job as a personal trainer. So, and this is where it is now. 3 years later, I am a full-time self-employed personal trainer working in London, in the city, in an amazing gym. The gym manager is actually a hypnotherapist in himself too, and we have a lot of chat about mental stuff, how we can improve more our members in the gym, and also my clients, not just physically, but how to help them also mentally.
That's great. And I just wondered, what was the gym that you work in, and whereabouts is that located, just to give us some context?
Yes, sure. So the gym I work in is in Orr Street. So if somebody doesn't know the area, it's basically the Shoreditch area in London. And the gym's name is Energy Fitness.
That's great. And just to give people context, East London, Shoreditch is like the most hipster or popular place to be in East London. It's a really cool spot. So Joli's in not just a good area, but a well-populated and popular area of London. And so Joli, just to give us an insight into your own journey, what motivated you? I know that you mentioned about personal training, but what motivated you first to be involved in fitness, and what drew you into the industry?
You're gonna laugh at me, Tim, and everybody who is listening. It's very simple thing. Basically, I'm a very, very tiny person. I'm only 142 centimeters, and if you want that in feet, that's 4'8" feet, basically, which is very, very tiny. And I just wanted to be like everybody else, I wanted to feel normal. I didn't want it to feel anymore that I'm small and weak and I can't do things and I need help constantly from people. So weightlifting was for me my rock, when it came to this, when finally I started to see how strong I can be. And this is why building strength is a big thing for me, and this is why my basic and my main thing. I do a lot of things, but my main thing with my client is strength and conditioning.
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And just for someone else who might have that intimidation, I spoke to you, I think on Thursday we did a live IG chat, and I shared with you sometimes people find it intimidating to go into a gym. I just wondered what advice you would give to somebody who was thinking about training or thinking about joining you. What would you be the advice you would give to them?
It would be easy from me to say that you just ignore them and then just go do your thing, because nobody is really focusing on you. Everybody else is just focusing on themselves. But when people have this insecurity, when they have these anxious feelings, you can't really say this to them, because they will still care about what people looking at them and how and when and what they think of them. So I would just say get yourself a professional who can encourage you and who can guide you, because that will help you a lot to come out this mindset and get rid of your insecurities.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I love how you've described and managed to identify the obstacles without even some people declaring them. I think you've obviously encountered other people that have that difficulty, and I myself often struggle. I always work out outside. I love to be walking, running, jogging, and very rarely get in the gym. So I've shared that with you in confidence, because it also appeals and applies to me. And so the last question, I guess, is just how do people connect with you, Joli? If you were to run a virtual or an in-person session, what would people do to get in contact?
I guess the easiest thing is just to go on my Instagram, where you can actually find my number and my email address also. And whichever is easier for you, just drop me a WhatsApp message or drop me an email, or even you can just DM me on Instagram. I will find that too, and we can get in contact.
That's brilliant. And I'm going to share the videos that you had for us. But before we switch into that mode, I know that you do a podcast, which is really interesting. I just wondered if you wanted to share a little bit about your podcast and what you do on that for us.
Yes, I can. So at the moment, my podcast is on a break, and we're coming back from next Sunday. So from next Sunday, we're starting season 3. And season 3 will be all about giving advices and helping people out on how to actually go on dates and what to eat on dates, what to avoid on dates, and also a little bit about the woman's body, to get to know more what is happening, all of these hormones every single month, with PMS and period and all of these things. So there's a lot of interesting things coming up for season 3. In season 1, we had everything but taboo. So we've been talking about a little bit of more sexual stuff, what people are afraid to talk about, or they have lots of questions, but they insecure to even ask about. And in season 2, we talked about relationships. We talked about healthy relationships and toxic relationships, friendship. We've been talking about marriage. It's a lot of things. I think one of the most interesting episode was what the church think about sex before marriage. That episode was one of the most interesting one. If anybody is interested into listening into the podcast, you can find it on also my Instagram is on IGTV. So I'm sure everybody has an option on Instagram, because I do. So if I do, I'm sure everybody else has that option for IGTV. So we have that there. The name of the podcast is Sex and Woman. Yes, perfect.
Go back to the start.
Okay, so there is going to be a few things that we have to discuss when it comes to conventional deadlifting. So as you've seen in the video, the setup is very important. So you need to know what weight you want to start with. So you do not want to start with anything heavy because you can hurt yourself. Make sure there is always somebody there with you who can actually help you and advise you what to do and how to do. So you got a bar, you got some weight on, and how we stand when we come into deadlifting with the bar is going to be a key point. We want to make sure that we go close to the bar. You do not want to be far away from the bar. So as you've seen in the video, my feet basically is under the bar. If you have shoes on, you want to make sure that when you look down to your feet, the bar is basically covering your shoelace. It's going to be kind of middle part of your feet, yeah? So once you had that set up, is your hand is the next thing what you want to make sure where you place them. So just right next to your legs, sliding down, and you're gonna grab the bar right next to your legs. Once you have that, you want to make sure that you engage everything what you have in your body. So it's going to be core, it's going to be back, it's going to be your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. You want to make sure you push through your heels all the time. So the first thing what you do, you push your butt out. Deadlift is going to be very similar to squat, but instead of your bum goes down when you squat, your bum goes out and down with deadlifting. So make sure you take a deep breath so you can embrace your core. So suck your tummy in literally. That's what it means, embracing your core. Don't overarch with your back because you're gonna hurt your lower back. But if you're keeping your tummy tight, that won't happen anyway. So that's one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you keep your tummy in. Next thing what you want to make sure that you engage your lats. The lats is the biggest muscle group on your upper body. It's called the latissimus dorsi, but we just call it the lats. That's the two big sides of your back. You want to make sure you engage them. Now, how can we engage the lats? Yeah, one of the most important thing, chest up, shoulders back down, and with this movement, you will feel your back getting tighter, which will give you an engage. So once you get that, what you need to do, I'm sorry about that, it's just my sister packing, it was a little bit noisy. So what you do, you're going to push through your heels. So don't think about a deadlift as a pull movement. Don't focus on getting that bar pulling up with your back, but focusing on pushing that bar away from the floor with your legs. So push against the floor with your legs through your heels. You're holding the bar, your chest is up, your head is looking just in an upright position. So when you're down, looking down, your head is gonna look down. But as you're coming up, your head is just, so don't try to not move your head. That's what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, and don't keep your head looking up even when you're down, because that's gonna hurt a little bit too. Yeah, so just keep it in a normal position so it will move with you. So once you get engaged everywhere, squeeze your bum before you push also. So why we do that? To make sure that we really engage every muscle. And a little thing that when you're squeezing your butt before you push, what will happen, it will keep also your knees out. So your knees won't crush together under the weight and you're not gonna get any injuries. So deadlifting is one of the hardest lift that anybody can do, and it's not for everybody. And even if you try deadlifting and you find out that conventional deadlifting is not for you, you could try out sumo deadlifting. That would maybe a little bit better option, you know, if you have more glutes engagement over there, because you can actually have more glutes, you will actually have more glutes engagement. Glutes basically is your bum, yeah, so that's the easiest way to remember. So it will give you more stability, because the bum, your glutes, are the biggest muscle in your whole body, so we can use them to even stabilize, well, actually we use them to stabilize our whole body.
That's great. And so I'm going to now profile your second video, which you shared with me, and I'm just going to come out of the one that you just showed us before, which is great, by the way. It's great footage. I love the fact that you were able to record before and speak with us live. So it's just going to take a moment to load up. As I do that, I'm just getting it here. Here we go. I'm right there.
Yes.
And then I'm going to share screen with us. So if you want to introduce it, that would be great.
My back, you're going to see how the engagement, is at the glutes, the legs, the position. So this at the head position even, so that will help you to understand and see a little bit more when you see it from the side and not just from the front. So that's where you engage your back, yeah? So you keep it tight. If your back is not engaged, then you're gonna pull a lot with your lower back, and that's when you can hurt yourself a lot. So as you can see, deadlift is working on all of the muscles, what you have, even your shoulders and everything what you have in your body. So it's a full body movement basically.
Yeah, I'm going to now switch off my share and come back to you.
So when do you want to put your deadlift in your program? I get that question a lot of times, like how to programming, your deadlift, how to put your deadlift into your programming. There is two type of, studies on these. Is it back day? Is it leg day? Most people will argue with this. I would say I'm personally deadlifting on my leg day if I'm deadlifting. Not always deadlifting, but when I do that, I'm putting into my leg day, because the main focus, what is coming from, is what I was saying, is that push from your legs. Yes, your back is gonna get the workout too, and every single muscle what you have, even your shoulders in there, But I would personally programize deadlift and what I do with my clients into leg day. I can't hear you, Tim. I can't hear you. Yes,
thank you.
Okay.
I was just saying, I love how you build the routines and the nature of how to develop deadlifting into your daily life. And I just wondered, as someone who likes to have schedules and routines, what advice would you give to someone as a personal trainer in terms of routines and scheduling for their training?
First of all, when it comes to deadlifting, want to make sure that you don't have any injuries, because if you have any injuries, it's going to be a little bit hard, yeah? Second, how's your core strength? Because you're going to need a lot of core strength for this lift, yeah? So you want to make sure that you work on your core. So best thing what you can do, when I say core, I don't just think about your abs, yeah? I think about all around in the middle area of your body. So that's going to be your abs, that's going to be your obliques, that's going to be your lower back. Now with your deadlifting, you want to make sure that specifically your lower back is going to be okay. So a lot of people has lower back troubles, and then they deadlifting and they will have more lower back troubles. So you want to make sure that your lower back is strong enough for deadlifting. Now, if you got lower back problems, so many reasons for that. We could actually have another half an hour just talking about that. It could be tight hamstrings, tight glutes. It could be, very weak core. There's a lot of options. You want to find out what causing you that trouble over there, and make sure that you're getting strong lower back, strong core before you do any deadlifting. You're on mute again.
Thank you. And so just to ensure and encourage everyone that might want to take part in deadlifting, you mentioned before the weight and the concept of understanding that you shouldn't lift too heavy to start off with. Could you just speak a little bit more about why that's important? And sometimes as a male, I know this, that the ego gets in the way. It stops you from being able to train sensibly because you want to lift more. You see other people lifting more. What kind of help advice would you give to someone struggling with that?
Yes, number one thing what everybody wants to focus on is your form. First of all, you do not want to get hurt. You don't want injuries. So that's the first reason why your form is number one and most important thing. Second, what people don't even realize, if your form is wrong, you're actually not working on the right muscle. If you're not working on the right muscle, you are not building that muscle. So why are we even doing the exercise if we don't get actually what we're looking for? So you want to make sure that your form is right. If your form is right, then you can load up and you can start your progressive overload, because without progressive overload, there is not going to be progress. So eventually you do want to get your weights up and up and up to the point, when it's challenging you, but you can still do. So when you feel like the weight is too heavy, you will know that. First of all, you can't do right form with too heavy weight. Yeah. So even if you can get that bar up from the floor when it comes to deadlifting, your back is gonna suffer. Just personally, I'm gonna say this because we all have accidents and we all have injuries before. About 3 years ago, I was deadlifting 80 kilos and I'm 42 kilo at the moment. So that was like almost my body weight. And actually lost my core and I pulled a lot with my lower back. Now in that moment, because my adrenaline rush was so high, I didn't really feel so much pain. I just felt like, okay, this was off, my form went, so I'm gonna stop. But then next morning, I was waking up, trying to get out of bed, and I couldn't. So I totally just broke my lower back. Not like literally broke my lower back, but in a way when it was like really painful, really tight.
That's great, thank you. And I really enjoy hearing the reality that we are all subject to our ego and that reality that we do often over pronate or over.
Oh yeah. And it just sounds so good to say that, yeah, I can deadlift double of my body weight. Yeah, it sounds amazing, but you want to make sure that you really can do this without getting any injuries.
Yeah, I think that's really important and really good advice to give people the reality that when you're in training, when you're in the moment, although the adrenaline might kick in and you feel great, there is still a need to place form and function at the core of what you're doing, and I'm really grateful that you've put that as paramount importance to us today. So just before you go, is there anything else you would like to add to what we've spoken about? Any advice or guidance that you would like to add to what you've said today?
Yes, specifically I can actually advise one exercise for getting a stronger lower back, because when I started my journey, I had very weak lower back too, which I didn't know why it's happening. And now when I have knowledge, I know it was because I had very weak glutes. So when it comes to, lower back and deadlifting, make sure that you work on your glutes first to make, sure that you got strong glutes. There's so many ways how you can work on that. Number one exercise for glutes is hip thrust. So start working on hip thrust a lot. And also bring in hyperextension. That's going to be the back extension. You can start back extension just on the floor, getting a little bit up and then going back down. But if your gym has a hyperextension machine, please start using it, because that will help you a lot to get strong core, strong lower back, glutes and hamstrings. And then you can slowly build up to the point where you can confidently do deadlifting.
Okay, That's brilliant. Well, I just want to thank you for your time. We've just reached 11:29 or 4:29 where you are. I'm sure that you want to carry on about your day, but just before you go, what's the best way to communicate with you? And if we want to book a session, how do we go about doing that?
Yes, just again, go on my Instagram. It's Jolis Fitness. You can find me there. You can find my email address, my phone number, so you can very easy to contact me.
Okay, brilliant. Joli, thank you very much for your time and your videos and the input that you've given to us today. Thank you very much.